Evening, people. Brentford won, Liverpool 4. 4 cups. We're in for, still in for. We're searching for them, in quest for them. But we also were battered, we're bruised. And when we come out that, whatever that stadium is called, it's 17,000 fans, which seems like 17,000 foulers as well between the 90 minutes. But whatever it was, we will go through the highs and the lows of yesterday. Normally, like I said, when you come out of that ground winning 4-1, Jurgen Klopp's side has never done it before in his 8 years. But when you do, you normally absolutely electrified with optimism. But yesterday was a bit of a bittersweet day. But there's been plenty of going behind the scenes today, whether it's AXA, whether it's scans going on, or whether it's the BNR WhatsApp groups. I had to get that in. I'm sorry. But these guys are normally a bit more cheerful, including myself. But let's go around the table and see how the lads are and what they were doing yesterday. There were fairly a lot of relaxing pictures going up. I saw Avi's very old looking, ugly looking feet today. But let's start with Jaden Chip. What's that all about? Provide us a bit of context, Chip. What's that all about?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sarib. Good evening, Jason.
Why did you single Sariba? Why not me and Chin?
The youngest. The youngest always gets.
yes.
The youngest always gets preference first. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, no, me and Sarib got into it today with Neto and Diaz. We'll go over it over the show later on. But he knows how much I love him. Anyway, away from that, Jaden Chip. No, I just think with the injuries, with Jota being out, he's definitely not going to be fit for Wednesday. I think there's a space for young Jaden Dance, who's been scoring a bucket full of goals this season. Son of Neil Dance. People will remember him, the lower league footballer. I think Jaden Dance will be in the squad against Luton. Asim. I think he might even be on the subs bench. So that's what I'm hoping for.
You're our man for the academy. Give us a bit of a scouting report, a brief one on Jaden before we carry on with the show.
Potent goal scorer. He can score goals from anywhere. Against Arsenal recently, we beat them, I think, 6-1. Scored a goal near enough the halfway line. Scored a hat-trick, I think, that game. But he's a good goal scorer, work rate. He's got pace about him. And he's a talent. He's definitely a talent amongst the those players in that little circle now. Kieran Morrison, who's a talent, Renell Young, but Jaden Downs has big hopes for him. And we've had goal scorers in the past, Leighton Stewart, but obviously he had bad injuries. Glatzel, Bobby Duncan, but they do think that Jaden Downs is the real deal. So hopefully we might even get to see him on the subs bench on Wednesday.
Wow. Hopefully we do. Avi's the head of the youth, or the king of the youth, as one of the comments states. Let's go to the youth in the house. Sarib, how are we doing, man?
Yeah, not bad. Just I'm tired as always, man. Always working, always watching football. I'm always doing something, always busy. I don't really get time to relax. I know it's a student life. I don't know if we've all been there. The student life is not the one, but it's only going to get worse from here. So I'm just trying to enjoy the
student life. It's all about enjoying. What work do you guys do? You're never busy. Students never busy.
No, final year of uni, intense, man, and pushing out content. I work a part-time job, having to analyze players, little transfer rumors here and there. I have to keep my.
When you're as good looking as Sarib is, the girls that will be texting him all night. He gets tired of that too, yeah. You know what I mean? He must have 100 dirty lines that he uses.
A big shout out to Zaid Rafiq. He's my cousin. He's in the house. A massive supporter. If I don't mention his name, I don't know what he's sending hearts and flowers for. Maybe
Valentine's week for you.
Chin, Sarib mentioned he gets out content.
Before we go on, Gene and Asim, because you're both married, do we celebrate Valentine's Day, or is it just a normal day in the office for you two?
Why should it have to be on 14th of February? You should be loving and caring for your wife all year round.
Ishq, Asim.
It's all commercialized,
I'll be watching. That's why he said that.
It's all commercialized, Avi. What do you think? But Achin, as I was saying, Sarib mentioned he's busy churning out content. Can you relate?
Well, I've done more content than you recently, mate. I don't know what content you've been doing, Avi. No, he's just content from a car, man. That's what he's good at recently.
They couldn't even organize a phone yesterday.
Tell them, man. Look, they couldn't even organize a phone in.
I couldn't do a phone in alone. Junior was busy. Sarib, bless him.
That's your problem. So
I
yeah,
can't-
multi-sells.
Just confirming that. Actually, me and you are confirmed for Friday.
Man, no.
You missed Friday for 2 weeks, lads.
No. Yeah, but I was back home.
Yeah, he was
I was back
traveling.
home. Yeah, come on.
Gene, you had technical problems 10 minutes before last Sunday. You couldn't log in.
Last Sunday, but this
Exactly.
last Friday we're talking
You
about.
couldn't
Yeah,
log in.
he was traveling, man. He was traveling.
Anyway,
He was traveling that day, man.
We're just confirming so that there's no discrepancies. Next Saturday there will be a phone-in show.
Sarib, are we doing one? Are you
Yeah,
at work?
we are.
What time do you have a break next Saturday?
Don't worry, I'm there.
Anyway, Abid says, well done. You guys are 10 minutes late. 10 minutes is quite good for Asians. You know, Asians are customary late guys. But anyway, I think there was a game on yesterday. Let's start with the lineup. Avi, I'll start with you. You guys were talking about Gomez / Bradley. Were there any surprises for you? Were you happy with it? You guys were talking about Harvey Elliott, if he deserves a start. Talk to me about the lineup.
I actually was surprised that Robbo did get the nod. But I know you came on the show in your car while you were in your McDonald's drive-through that you did say that Robbo would start Asim. So no, he went with the fullbacks, Robbo and Bradley, which I thought was a bit surprising to go that attacking. But no, it worked a treat. Midfield, there wasn't a lot he could do. He could have brought on maybe Gravenberch to put Matt back in the 6. But no, he went with Jones, Endo, and McAllister. And then the front three, I think that was a correct decision. I think Salah off the bench, obviously we know now the impact that he had yesterday. But yeah, I think the starting 11, I was happy to go with that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it, Asim, to, yeah.
I don't agree with that.
You bastard. You bastards. I was just saying, Kaden, I'll note that down for next time. But before we carry on, there's just under 100 in here. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you haven't subscribed, then please do so. But if you have, then smash a like. It helps us with all the algorithms and how these things work in the beautiful world of the internet. Gene, I was coming to you with the lineup. We were talking about flying fullbacks. And it showed as well, didn't it, for the first 10-15 minutes that this is a Brentford side that, although they're missing a few players, but it's still Brentford at the end of the day. And whether it was for 10-15 minutes or 20-30 minutes, they do make it difficult for you.
Yeah, they made it really difficult, especially in the first 15-20. Asim, we struggled to get to grips with the pace of the game, I felt, and you could see that especially in the midfield, we struggled. We couldn't get going, and they were actually in the ascendancy. There was a few times where they played some neat passes and managed to get the ball to the front two. I felt the front two caused us a lot of problems, especially with Mope dropping slightly deeper. And when 2-on-2, Mope and Tony are still a handful, and I sort of felt like it took us 15-20 minutes to get to sort of grips with it. But to be honest with you, Asim, it was the goal that sort of changed the game. That was the point in this game where you felt the ascendancy changed towards Liverpool, where we felt, okay, now we're going to try to sort of control this game. But before that, you've got to give credit to Brentford. Although I felt we were okay, they were in the ascendancy, and I felt they had a lot more control. And our midfield, I just felt we were a tad slow in the midfield. And yeah, look, in terms of the lineup, it's the lineup that we predicted that would be the lineup. And yeah, look, to be fair, by the first 15, I thought we controlled the game, but obviously you'll go into the game a lot more later on.
You're on mute. Yeah, but absolutely, I agree with what you're saying, Asim. Yes.
Why am I on mute? Who keeps putting me on mute? Anyway,
I just put myself on mute. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, when you don't see Cody Gakpo in the lineup, you think, what the fuck's Klopp doing?
No, but he put Endo in the team. It's fine. But no. For me, the lineup was as I expected. I thought I know we had a bit of a debate, Asim, about Harvey Elliott, how he'd fit into the team based on his performances last week against Burnley. I would have started him, but I knew Klopp wouldn't have started him just because I knew he was in form and players deserve to get a chance in the 11 when they're in form. But the lineup was as I expected. Maybe Gomez I thought would get a game ahead of Robbo, but Robbo needs to build some sort of game.
Were you expecting Gakpo to get the nod yesterday?
No. I didn't expect Gakpo to play. I thought the front three was going to be a normal McAllister's an 8, Jones, Endo, and then the back four was as I expected. I thought just Joe Gomez maybe was the one I thought maybe would get into the team, but other than that, it was completely fine. And obviously the Alisson, we can't do much about that now, can we? But
Okay.
Maka's was interesting, though. It was very interesting.
Let's go to the start of the game then, Avi. Chi mentioned that it was difficult for 10-15 minutes. Why do you think that was the case then?
Just think, obviously, the crowd, Asim, you know, is a tight knit sort of community. Brentford Stadium. They've changed their names 2-3 times. I've always used to calling it different parts.
Like you, Avi, on a weekly basis.
You know, and they said their story. You know, they got Ben Mee, you know, who's a stalwart. You know, we've seen him in his Burnley days. They had Aya, who's got, you know, who's been here for a couple of seasons now. You know, strong defender, and then Nathan Collins, who's been a very good defender actually. I'm surprised he's at Brentford. I think there is another level in him. And then Norgard, you know, the absolute idiot that he was yesterday, but they set their stall, you know, the wing back system. They were missing Ethan Pinnock, who caused us problems with one. Yeah, he's a big miss. And then obviously, you know, Tony, you know, 4 in 5 the goals that he's scored when he's on his comeback. So they're a good structured team. Thomas Frank, he talks the game well. And first 15-20 was always going to be a little bit, you know, they'll create a few chances. You know, they've got the crowd behind them. You know, the Tony factor, but we handled it well. We didn't get going up until that, you know, the corner from them, and then we set off Kelleher, you know, who deserves a lot of credit, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of stick that came his way because Alisson's out, but he was absolutely brilliant, Kieran. Absolutely brilliant. Made a great save before that Tony goal. Superb. And he did well last week against Burnley as well. The goal comes. I thought initially Jota had just misheaded it, but it was a beautiful crafted header into the path of Darwin Nunez, who 101. I expected Flecken, because Flecken played really well against Man City the week before. The first 25-30 minutes when Man City couldn't get going. But yeah, that finish, I didn't know he had it in him. We've seen it at Benfica that he can finish, but the confidence 1-on-1 to chip it, and those kind of finishes can go very horribly wrong as well. But it didn't. It was a very good goal, and that set us on our way. And then from there, you know, I think we took, you know, pretty much full control of the game.
I think when Reds talk amongst themselves, Avi, they've started asking each other, when Darwin Nunez goes through on goal, what do you do? Well, the world stops, time stops. What happens? But so tell me, did you hide behind the sofa? Because there's plenty of time to do it.
It's a weird one, you know. You always believe that he's going to score. You just always assume that he's going to score. But
really,
you got to back him.
You keep telling me that when he goes through a goal.
You got to back him. I mean, do I trust him in front? I think Diaz is a better finisher. Did I back Darwin Nunez yesterday 1-on-1? No, I probably like 60-40. I thought, okay, he'll put this in the net. We'll go round the keeper. I didn't expect a chip, which again, I thought that was clever.
It's good that he scored out. I'll let you go, Chin, as well. But
I mean, I have more confidence in Gakpo Diaz on a 1-on-1 than I do with Nunez right now, as of now.
Gene, Michael Owen came out with a long butcher on Twitter. I don't know if he wrote it himself. I don't know. But he said, look, I don't want to take anything away from Nunez, but at the end of the day, he was talking about him having a default finish. And that's what we've been talking about for months when it comes to Nunez, having a default finish. But, you know, the more I see him, the more I watch him, I know he's had a good month in terms of output for the last month or so. But the more I see him, I think Darwin Nunez is not. There's confidence in every player to an extent. When we hear, oh, it's all about confidence and strikers are all about confidence, I get that. But the more I watch him, the more I see him, the more I get to know him in these inside Anfield videos that they put out on a weekly basis, that this guy's just a mad-fucker. That he will do that if he's on a barren run or if he scored 10 goals in a row. That this guy, sometimes he doesn't know what he's doing himself.
Before you take that, I think he hasn't got a bread and butter finish. You know, the Owens, the Shearers, the Fowlers, the Van Nistelrooys, the Henrys, they always had a finish, 1-on-1, you know, or coming off from the left. You know, they would plant it, they would finesse it, you know, like on the side of the keeper. They always had that finish. You don't know with Darwin Nunez. You don't know whether he's going to go around the keeper or he's just going to go straight at him. The Burnley one last week when we were at the game, he had that chance when he's clean through and he hits it right against the keeper. He hasn't got that designated finish yet.
You know, I think Asim, Daniel Sturridge mentioned that, you know, there's there's strikers who, when they're in a situation, they have like 1, 2, or maybe 3 types of finishes when they get into a certain area in the box. And Darwin Nunez, look, he's an enigma, Asim. He's different. He will do what pleases him in that moment. And yesterday, when he went through on goal, for once, and I don't know where I got this confidence from, I just had this feeling he was going to put it away. The only reason why I've got that, I had that confidence was over the last 2 or 3 games. Yes, I know he missed that chance against Burnley, but I feel as though he's a lot more confident in front of goal. And he hasn't been missing that many chances compared to what he was missing 2 months ago. So I was confident, yes, but as soon as he tried to lob the keeper, I was, that's one thing I was not expecting. Put it that way. And as soon as he went over, I'm there praising, just hit the back of the neck as if there's a fear that he might go over the bar. But look at him, what an unbelievable finish. And what you mentioned a player that plays with confidence. Of somebody like Darwin Nunez that's playing with confidence is a player that's good enough to be as good as anybody in world football. So we just have to see more and more of Darwin, and he's actually produced the numbers, even more so over the last 5 or 6 weeks with Salah being injured. And look, it's been huge. And one thing that I've got to give him a lot of credit for is when Salah got injured, the first thing I said was, Darwin, your time has come. Your time has come now to actually come and really, really be counted. And fair play to the boy. The guy's been unbelievable since Salah's been off. And now, obviously, with the injury to Jota, and we're going to speak about the injury as well. Yeah. But him being on form and on song is massive for us.
Sarib, it's Darwin Nunez, isn't it? Well, if it was someone else, if it was Haaland doing it, if it was any other striker, Mbappe doing it, we'd be seeing it all over Twitter, and for the right reasons as well. And although we've seen many compilations, Liverpool put one out today at every angle of the Darwin dink. But it is Darwin. Whether he's scoring or he's misfiring, he's always in the headlines, isn't he? But when he does produce something like that, a moment of magic, you just have to hold your hands up and say, you know what, that was an absolute brilliant finish. And some people are acting like he's going to do it again and again and again. And if he does, then he can be criticized. But if he instinctively thought that's the right idea at that moment, a given moment in time, then you just have to give him his flowers and think, wow, what a moment of magic. Fair play at 0-0, whether it's 3-0 or 0-0, you have to say that he came through with it.
Yeah, and all I can do is praise him, because we've come on the show and said so many times that Nunez, he thinks very instinctively. He thinks when he gets a chance, that's the only thing he can do. His best work is done when he can only do one thing. We've not seen Darwin Nunez one-on-one with the keeper much this season, just like that, where he can put it left, right, over. He had so many options. He could have put the sweaty to Jota. Jota was literally right next to him. When he did the chip, I was like,
he didn't even look at Nunez, Jota.
No, that's what I said. He lobbed it. I was like, please go in, just please go in. He had a sweaty on, and that's a tap in. You can put it left or right, but he went over, and I was like, just wow. I was in the shower while I was watching it as well. I was on my phone, so I started screaming in my shower. I dropped the shower head on the floor, started jumping in my bath. I was like, finally. My mum's bashing on the door. Why are you shouting? I was like, Mum, Darwin Nunez just scored a chip. You don't understand. She's like, who's Darwin Nunez? But look, so happy for the guy, man. That's all I've wanted from him all season. Yeah, he's been inconsistent with his finishing, but like you lot put it very, very beautifully, over the last 6 weeks or so, he's stepped up a lot, especially at the start of this year. He barring that Chelsea game, he started the new year very, very well. I know with that Newcastle game, he had many chances, then the Burnley, whatever order it was in, but he's been doing it more and more and more. And you can't criticize a player that's trying and he's doing the right things, because he's getting himself into the position to score the goals, and he's getting the goal as an assist to back up the chances that he's getting. So I don't have a bad word to say about it. Just long may it continue for Darwin Nunez.
Asim, that's 25 goals, goal contribution in 37 matches for Darwin, man.
Wow.
37.
I was just about to come to the sort of attacking prowess of our strikers. Gene, I call them the best 5 in world football as a collective. Mohamed Salah, 19 goals. Jota, 14 goals. Darwin Nunez, 13 goals. Gakpo, 10 goals. Luis Diaz, 9 goals. So they're all firing. And if we can keep 4 out of the 5 fit, I always think we need an option from the bench. Yeah. And if we can keep 4 out of 5, Jota, the reports are that he's out for a couple of months.
Asim, can you say the last bit again? How many goals does Diaz have this season?
9.
And what about Gakpo?
10.
Interesting. Continue, sorry.
There's only one more, sorry, but I don't know what the point is. Yeah.
I misheard. That's
The reason I had to go, Salah.
I'm just saying I misheard something. I just wanted to
No,
clarify.
you heard it correct.
Oh.
So, but Gene, yeah, if we can keep 4 out of 5 fit.
Oh no, I was talking.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I'm
The reason I had to go, I think Salah's aggravated his injury again. The one that he faced, the hamstring, was it?
Who
I think
was?
he's aggravated again? Salah. So I had to.
Are you having a laugh?
No, I had to take the call. But yeah, apparently he's aggravated it again.
This guy's chatting shit. I don't.
Who rang you? So that's Dad.
No, he's not alive anymore. God.
Oh yeah, it's just this guy's chatting, man. He's just, I mean, he's
alive, for God's sake. You joker.
Don't make me check.
Check who you want.
Yeah, be honest. Do I need to go on my phone to check?
Yeah, but I can't take that right now.
Can the comments tell us? Anyway, Avi, tell me about how good our top 5 are at the moment and the injury news of Jota. Is it so bad that it's going to cost us the title, Avi?
The types of goals he scores and the work that he does in and around the box, yes. I think it could be, titles can be decided by the goals that he purely just scores outside that box. I don't think we have a finisher like him at the club, to be honest. He's lethal. Left foot, right foot, header. And this was my peeve last year with Diogo Jota. And let me finish. Yesterday, you can't help that. That's a landing. That's not. He's done that himself, but that's happened to him. Out of the blue. That was a landing from Norgard, who's about 6'2", 6'3". And my biggest peeve with Diogo Jota is the injuries that he gets every season. The season that he joined us in the 2020-2021 season, he misses 3 months. The season, I think it's the 21-22 season where he scored, where he played 53 games. I think that was the season. I think he still missed. I still think he missed like a month of football that season as well. And then last season, and this season again. But this injury, that can't be helped. He's a finisher. He's still 27. If it's only 2 months, he's gotten away with it, to be fair. He has gotten away with it because it could have been much more uglier. I think we will see him, hopefully, I'm hoping, and these just a guess, I think we see him sooner than 2 months, to be honest.
But Avi, do you think, as brilliant as he is, do you think Diogo Jota goes under the radar, whether it's at Liverpool or amongst Premier League fans? Maybe because he's not Salah, or maybe he's not as fun as Darwin.
You know what's funny about Diogo Jota? I think it's the opposition or the enemy lines that appreciate him more than we as Liverpool fans do. I think we just see him as a poacher.
Okay, man.
No, we do, but I think he gets a lot of praise from other fans too. I think we've known him as a poacher, but this season, his all-round gameplay, the goals that he scored this season, they have been different. The Chelsea where he just determined, just went through the two centre-backs, Silva and Disasi, I think it was. Or it was Badashi. He's doing a lot more with the ball. He's being more of a all-round player rather than just a coach that we've known him for. So no, he's definitely got his praise. He's going to be a massive miss. But it is for the likes of Gakpo, for Diaz to output. We need more goals. Diaz is getting in the box more than ever this season than he was in previous seasons. He's working a lot more in getting in those sort of tap-in positions that Jota does. And Gakpo's, 10 in 31, 32 games. You can't go wrong with that, I know he's only got 4 in the league, but he is scoring the League Cup. The League Cup run has been due because of Cody Gakpo. And Darwin and Salah, they'll provide the goals. We'll be good.
Gene, I was going to stay with Jota. Avi mentioned that this was just a one-off case, a very unfortunate circumstance where the lad just fell on his leg. But in terms of his Jota's style, he does get fouled a lot. I can remember Klopp, whether it was this season or last season, saying that whenever the medical reports come in from the medical team, that it does exist at Liverpool, or whatever you believe, but they do send the reports in. And Klopp was saying that whenever I have a look at these, Jota's name is always there a million times. If I'm just paraphrasing now at the moment, where he was saying like a knock here, a bruise here, and stuff like that. Is it because of his style, where he sometimes, touches, it takes a heavy touch, but because of his pace and tenacity, he gets there, but also gets chopped down a lot?
He is, and plus, Asim, he's a combative player. He's the one who actually goes at players. He plays when he receives the ball. He's a full throttle type of player, and you will get But it's just sad that the way it's always him that picks up these injuries, especially in a moment like this. And like Avi mentioned, look at that injury, man. The guy fell on top of him. It's just honestly, Asim, I was devastated with the injury to Jota. Because he gives us something that none of our forward give us. He's unpredictable. He just
top 3 player of the season, by the way, in my eyes.
He's been brilliant. He's been that good since he's come back from injury. And normally he takes a couple of months after injury. It takes him a couple of months. This time around, he was still in. But yes, look, the way he plays, there's times where he does draw in the defenders to make a challenge. He is that type of player that will, he's always when he receives the ball, he's running at you. He's a direct. He's always direct. So he's not like a player that's going to hog the touch line and wait for the challenge and see if he can beat the man on the left or right. When he receives the ball, he's coming at you. And yeah, maybe that is one of the reasons why he does pick up these niggles, these tackles. But honestly, Asim, I am really
I don't know if it was you or Avi, but I'll pose a question to Sarib because
it was to me. You said this last night, saying with Daniel Abubakar.
I said this, didn't I, Avi? If you look at his injury again, I think he could have been a bit smarter. Whether you say, look, it's pure circumstance, it happened quickly. I get that. But if you look at that, and Daniel makes a good point, and I said this on the phone to you guys, that his attention is with the ball. But if it was on the guy, he had enough time to move it or get prepared for the impact. And because he wasn't, maybe the impact was a lot more than.
It seems like he got fouled twice. What's his name?
It was a knee. I thought he got a foot to the chest first.
On his foot in the challenge as well. And it's honestly, man, I don't want flipping somebody else take over. I'm honestly was devastated with the news about Jota, man.
And just to ease fears, look, obviously not ITK stuff or anything like that, but I do think we'll see him quicker than 2 months. I do think he'll recover quicker.
I hope so.
As long as it's not a full-on PCL, I think we'll see him maybe 4 or 5 weeks.
Is this Portuguese channel or page still saying it's a PCL, Avi?
I'm not sure. I've not read the piece. I'm just saying what I'm going off on what they're.
You said he's very underrated by Liverpool fans, and I think he's generally underrated by a lot of football fans. And when you said rival fans don't talk about Jota in the same breath as some of the strikers we have in the Premier League, you have like Christopher Nkunku. People are talking about how he's going to impact Chelsea. You got Haaland, he's the extraterrestrial in the league. Kane in the past. But Jota always seems to be in and around the top of the goal scoring charts. The 21-22 season when he played consistently, he got about 16, 17 league goals or something like that, which is behind Salah, Ronaldo.
Sarib, when he's fit, he's a 1 and 2. He's a 1 and 2 striker.
Absolutely.
His first season, 13 in 33. His 22 in 52 games. This season, he's going off that record, 14 in 24, maybe.
That's even him being without like a league goal in a year. He went from April 22 to April 23 without one league goal, and that was injuries, loss in form, etc., etc. A lot of factors. But you look at him now; he's starting to get the praise from a lot of even the pundits, the journalists, the rival fans. They're all starting to applaud his work, left foot, right foot. He just won the Premier League Player of the Month, for God's sake. You would have told me this 1 year ago. I would have thought you crazy. Thought it would have been Salah, Van Dijk, Rodri, De Bruyne. But now Jota has been starting to be implementing that kind of breadth of player, and it only bodes well for Liverpool. It's only a good thing for Liverpool.
Avi, going back to the game, I thought the way Liverpool adapted, I should say, to Neil Maupay and Ivan Toney. Neil Maupay was picking up those little pockets in between the defenders and the midfield, and you saw on a few occasions Van Dijk and Konate didn't really know to follow him, especially Neil Maupay. But I think the way Liverpool adapted, putting McAllister a lot closer. Then when Salah came in, Bradley came into the midfield. I thought Liverpool controlled the game by blocking those passing lanes. And I tweeted sort of half-time that Thomas Frank has set up his team to counter Liverpool, but he doesn't know, or maybe he's forgot, that Liverpool are the best counter-attacking team in the world.
To be honest, I didn't think Maupay, he couldn't get a sniff. He couldn't get into the game. He couldn't even ruffle us up. You know how he can set the tempo for Brentford by getting in a challenge and giving it back like he did with Man City, with Kyle Walker. He couldn't get going. I think Tony's biggest problem yesterday was he was missing Boema. He was missing the pace. He didn't fancy Van Dijk yesterday. He didn't fancy Pulida. He didn't fancy it yesterday with Van Dijk. He didn't at all. He didn't fancy Konate either. he had one chance, I think, where he gets that run in, and it was a very tame shot at the keeper. He couldn't get going, but had Buemo had got there, who pulls defenders out or position with his pace, because he is a merchant, and there were some channels out there. I think it was our very own Evan Soccer God, who actually said Buemo would be an ideal Salah replacement. That's Soccer God for you. That's the opinions of some Americans, not mine. Not mine. I'm still a British citizen, but I think he was missing Buemo. Tony didn't fancy Van Dijk yesterday at all. Didn't even want to go up for a header. And they just couldn't get up. They didn't have the support at the back. Janssen was a letdown for Brentford yesterday. Usually he's up and down. No guard, but they were having to protect what was happening on the other end. Just couldn't get going.
But ask him a quick question. Do you not think, in terms of tactically what Frank did in terms of, for their corner, he left like what 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 against us.
Yeah.
Avi calls Frank this amazing manager tactically. Anybody in world football can see arguably the best counter-attacking side in world football. That's.
But Gene, why does he do that? But Gene, he does that because they're great at set pieces.
Yeah, offensive.
That's why he took that risk. He takes that risk. But not just this game. Even against Man City, second half against Man City, he left 2 at the back. Against Haaland, against Alvarez, or
it's like high risk, high reward. The way that Thomas Frank said in his interview, Liverpool are the best counter-pressing attacking team in Europe. He said this, we're the best team in the league at the moment. But he also knows Brentford are so dangerous of offensive set pieces.
Isn't it a fine line between being brave and being naive then?
Absolutely, and that's where the best managers are. You see it with Vincent Kompany. We talk about Ange Postecoglou, that performance against Tottenham. Sometimes you have to adapt to matches. And Thomas Frank, I really like him as a coach because he plays his way and it's only his way. And sometimes that can your best attribute can be your worst downfall. And that happened to him yesterday. But Brentford are a team that are never going to be up there in the league. They have been there. They've won some big games. Thomas Frank is a really, really good tactician. He's a really good manager. And he sees what his team is good at. And those are the best chance of him scoring goals off set pieces. He hasn't had a striker, for God's sake, for the last, the whole of the season. And now he's gotten back and he's got 4 and 5. But he said in his interview, and I watched his interview quite a few times, he said, high risk, it's like a high risk, high reward. We are very, very dangerous off offensive set pieces. And if they win those, for example, because they did win a few headers, if they win those, it's trouble. But if they lose those, you get that on the other end. So it's that fine line, I guess.
Gene, you don't agree?
Look, you're playing against Liverpool Football Club, and you've had a decent start. You're playing well in the first 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, just carry on. They've literally given us the goal and given us the game. Yes, high risk, high reward. I understand, but like you mentioned, Asim, there's a fine line. You got to understand. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look who you're up against. Fair, you're up against a side that will murder you on the counter. So you have to play, you're in control of the game. And to be fair to them, they were in the first 15, 20 minutes. That one lapse of, that one massive risk that they took when there was no real need for it at that time, cost them the game.
You look at the last 2 seasons as well, the one player that's given us more trouble than Tony in that Brentford team is Buemo. And this season, prior to that ankle injury, he had got 8 and 17. He was on fire.
Buemo was on fire.
So when Tony was out, he was doing the dog work. He was running the channels. He was taking players on at will with his players. They missed him yesterday big time. They missed him against Man City.
I think he's the outball for them, isn't he?
Yeah.
The outball. And the outball yesterday was Maupay. But like you said, Maupay, he's not elite. Obviously, he's nowhere near that. But I thought the way we adjusted, because the passing lanes were there for him. And I think Brentford are always about those little triangles, whether it's on the side or in the middle, and get the ball out to their winger. But I think Liverpool, and this is why I said on the eve of the game that Liverpool will go for the flying fullbacks. That's what you call about being brave. I think it's brave enough, but also providing the protection through Van Dijk and Konate. And the counter argument from you guys is, look, Brentford don't have Konate and Van Dijk. But then maybe you have to provide an extra man for them. You can't go man-to-man against the best counter-attacking side in the world, Avi.
Yeah.
But and as in one thing yesterday, in the second half especially, we went like a 2-3-5, yeah? And you'll go into this more in depth. And our 2-3-5 is obviously Konate and Van Dijk in that middle, but they fancy themselves against a Tony and Maupay. For pace, Tony's not quicker than Konate or Van Dijk. We can afford to do that. Brentford can't afford to do that. But they did with that corner. Why? Because most of their goals this season have been from set pieces. He actually fancied extra couple of bodies into our box. It will result in a goal in the set pieces, but it didn't. If anything, it obviously was detrimental because Jota gets that header off and Darwin is free.
Yeah, no, 100%. Bilal says flying fullbacks failed. Maybe he can explain to me how flying fullbacks failed in terms of positioning. It pinned Brentford back. Brentford are always going to have their 5-10 minutes, whether it's the start of the game or the end of the game.
Look at the positions that Bradley was up, Asim. I mean, you will have him with another theory yesterday on Conor Bradley's evolution over the coming years. But he was picking up positions where he was taking the ball and run the shot in the first half.
Yeah,
he from the right hand position, the right fullback position.
We'll come to the Conor Bradley, Avi, but I was going to come to Sarib, but I'll stay with you, Avi. I thought the second goal was about two people that gave us quality, gave us control. Mohamed Salah wasn't expected to be on the pitch, but when he was, Avi, he gave us. Forget everything that Salah gives us, the quality, the passing, the output. He gave us control yesterday. That, you know what, the heartbreak that we had with Curtis Jones going off, with Jota going off, Mohamed Salah came, the king came back, and he calmed everything down.
Like myself on this channel, innit? There's anyone. I tell you what I want. Yeah, I want someone in the selections in the chat. So selection, you're in the chat. I want you to do your research and do your research properly. Yeah, research how many times Salah. No, selection in the comments. He's saying Brentford. He's saying that we were shit prior to 35 minutes. We weren't shit. We just couldn't get going, and that's fine. I want to know how many times Salah off the bench has scored or assisted. He's like a super sub. His stats when he's come off the bench, it's ridiculous. And I can think of 4 or 5 games on the top of my head now where he's influenced the game, and it's probably goals rather than assists. But yesterday he comes on. He comes on, and you know what it is? You know how we say Van Dijk has this aura about him, calmness? Salah's the same up top. He comes on, he's like, hey, listen, 1-0, we've got this. And the ball that he plays, I thought Gravenberch's work was absolutely superb. Asim, he literally takes 2-3 players out of the game with that pass, that short pass to Salah. And then he finds that ball. And this season, he's playmaking. He's taking it to another level. We've seen the assists this season. He's got that's his 13th of the season. Looks at McAllister. Some forwards, this old Salah doesn't do that. The old Salah will fancy himself against a regular and take him on, and either it comes off or it doesn't, or he gets a cross in and the byline. But yesterday, very deep, finds that ball to McAllister, who's been operating that 8 position. We saw last week against Burnley, and it was a great finish. And that shows you what a multiplexer of a footballer McAllister is. He can drop in the 6, or he can play in an advanced 8 and pick up those positions because he's got it in him to score 5 to 10 goals a season, McAllister. He finds himself in that position, and it was a beautiful. Was it a prod home, Gene? Would you say that he prodded it home, or was it just a nice sort of elegant sort of finish? Just rolled into the net.
It was like a prod, wasn't it? He just got his foot there before the defender or the goalkeeper got there. So it's a neat finish. He got there in front of the defender before the defender or the goalkeeper. So yeah, I'd say it's a prod home.
Gene Unks says Salah is king, and king is he indeed. He could have had a hat-trick, Gene. And I think Sky gave him, or was it on TNT? I forgot. Was it on TNT?
Don't think they gave the man of the match.
Yeah, they gave him the man of the match. And you kind of think, okay, Salah, the king, came back. He produced a bit of a cameo, but it was a lot more than a cameo. And at times when someone like that of that stature gets a goal or assist, they play to the galleries, play to the viewers and the sponsors, and they think, you know what, give him the man of the match. But he was the man of the match yesterday. What a player, what a comeback, and what a statement.
He looked really, really sharp, Asim. The minute he first received the ball, I know he had that slight little chance where we thought, you know what, he was in. You mentioned he could have got a hat-trick. It was shades of Liverpool versus Man United, that little dink where for his hat-trick goal where I know he messed up and put it wide. But even there was a chance before that where he played a lovely little pass to Diaz. Diaz had a shot that went wide. So you could tell this was a fit and sharp Salah. Every time he's on the ball, there was a moment when he received the ball, he sent the really left back to God knows where. He really left him fish dead.
That was Christopher Ayer, the centre back, when he had the ball and Yeah,
Little
I don't know what you call that. I don't even know what you call that move, but it was brilliant. He sort of
looked like
he had got on top of the ball and he went left or right.
Oh
And
wow!
Yeah.
Because you know what's so good about that, Gene, is when someone like a high pressing, annoying team, we by then we know how annoying Brentford are. But if someone does that, puts their studs on the ball, does a little, rotation, and then skips past their marker, they're not only just taking someone on, but before that, they take control, and the pressing team doesn't press because he's baited them, he's done something else to him. He buys himself time, and great players do that. They buy themselves time and then see what's going to happen next.
And plus, that's the Salah comes on when we're 1-0 up. With all due respect to Brentford, they were going to get it. Any side, Salah coming on when Liverpool's winning 1-0, and he's in a fresh and fit Salah comes on. He was sensational yesterday, and he deserved the man of the matter what. And like you mentioned, Asim, the only little positive to come out of that Jota injury was that at that time was hopefully Salah's back and he'll be fit and fighting.
I don't know what it is, but he looks quicker when he's had a haircut. I don't know what it is. Maybe a lot of hair and he slows him down. But when he's short from the side, when he's got a short from the side, when he doesn't look like Krusty the Clown, he looks quicker. And yesterday he looked quicker and sharp.
There we are. Avi, the head of BNR Aerodynamics.
I think Christian Horner, call me Christian Horner.
I think
the rumors are true though. I think he's out for Wednesday.
But are these fake rumors or legit rumors? Are they started by you?
Egyptian news coming through who's got 1.5 million followers. So let's see.
Bloody hell. Sarib, it would be wrong if I don't allow you the opportunity to wax lyrical about the king.
Yeah. I know it wasn't ideal scenario that he came in. I know the Klopp maybe didn't want him to put him as early as he did come on. I know the injuries kind of to Jota made him come on a bit earlier than we would have expected. I thought he'd get 20, at least 20, if that 15 minutes near the end of the game. But he had to play a bit more than a first half. They played a bit more than a half. Sorry, played about 60 minutes. But what can I say? The guy looked really good yesterday when he came on. He could have scored a couple of goals. He looked a lot quicker. Avi's right. It might not be because of his haircut, but he just looks a lot sharper on the ball. He looks a lot quicker. He looks like he thinks that split second before everyone in the pitch. And you could see the level he's on is by far higher than anyone on the pitch yesterday afternoon. And long may it continue. And I know there's some rumors about Mo Salah being injured, and obviously if that is real, that's another massive blow to us because we're down to our bare bones in the attack at the moment. But sorry,
just stop there. Avi, look, on a serious level, are there rumors out there tonight that he's out or aggravated his hamstring injury?
You mentioned it before. I said it earlier on the show. I don't think he's going to be there on Wednesday.
Yeah, but what about for the final? That's what I'm concerned about.
One game at a time, but yeah, one game at a time.
No, because Avi, there were rumors early in the day that he's suffering from fatigue.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah, how can he be suffering from fatigue? He's been taking about 3-4 weeks off.
No, because
what's his fatigue business?
Avi, there was no plan of Salah getting 60-odd minutes yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
The plan was 20 minutes.
Yeah. And obviously the injury to Jota made him come in a bit early.
Let him sleep it off a little bit more and he'll be fine by Wednesday. I think, look, let's just see. We should still have enough to beat Luton. Come on.
Sarib, sorry.
No, it's fine. Regardless to the point, I think he was really good yesterday, and it's like he hasn't missed a beat and scoring a goal. Did he get an assist?
He did.
Yeah, that pass.
McAllister.
He did. Goal and assist off the bench in 60 minutes, just coming back from without playing a Liverpool game for about 5 to 6 weeks is ridiculous. The level that he's at. Obviously, if he is injured, like I said before, it is a blow. Let's just hope he's fit for the final, because I'm going to Wembley and I want to watch him run down the wing. I want to watch him run down the wing.
Oh, if you hear,
you know what it is. At 32 years old, you do expect the body to break down a little bit now. He's given us 6-7 years of full. He's hardly ever missed a beat.
Yeah.
So look, maybe similar to Bobby. Once Bobby hit 30, 31, he was getting the injuries. Mane was kind of struggling post COVID. So look, it's happening with Salah now. So we've just got to be careful.
Obviously, there's reports that Nunez is going to be missing Luton as well. If that's Salah and Nunez, bro, it's Diaz and Gakpo, mate. And Abi's a
Absolutely. That's why me and Sarib were doing the post-match reaction show on Wednesday. It could be our boys. That
Abi, your call on Jade and Duns. You forget the squad you might be already starting.
Mubi's in the building. Mubi Hack, greetings, fam, have faith. He's saying that to Bilal, but I'm sure he presents his greetings to everybody else as well. I was going to say to you, Sarib, you said I want to watch him running down the wing. If you heard Unks's running down the wing audio, oh my God, I swear down, the cop would actually change the tune for that because that tune.
I heard Unks has got the building rights to build another stand at the Kennels Road next season. So big up to Unks.
Has he?
Yeah, yes.
What's he got the rights for?
To extend one of the stands at Kenilworth Road.
Really?
Yeah. Unks.
Okay, that's falling down then.
Just
They
put the
walk
application
past
through.
that. They walk past that. I'm telling you now. For him, he's probably building it himself.
You know the craziest thing to me is we've got Salah and Jota and Nunez out injured, and we still have two attackers that would start for most Premier League teams. I find that insane. I find that crazy.
Yeah, I'll just win on Wednesday, man. I'm just getting stressed out now, man.
Look, I think the King will be fine. Avi, this is your fault. You're spreading fake rumors. The boys are anxious. The comments are anxious. The fan base is anxious. What are you doing? Relax.
I'm excited about Jaden Dance, you know.
But anyway, let's stick with the goal scorer of that second goal. I thought McAllister, we talked about Salah, bringing in control, but I think McAllister was his partner in that, where Sarib, McAllister, he's enjoying a different type of role now since Endo's come back into the team, where he's a lot closer to him on the ball. Once the attack develops, then he's making that run. And that run is something that you can expect going forward a lot more.
Are you sure you want to, first of all, are you sure you want to have this conversation? Because you have been the biggest advocate of Macca's a 6. Macca's going to play 6. Macca's going to play
6.
What do you mean?
Generally in build-up, it's more of a double pivot.
I get that, but look at the position. All season I have not seen McAllister in the opposition box.
Yeah, because when I've
already seen about 3 times.
Because now he's given a bit of extra license.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have to be that guy, the responsible one, where he's got a bit of extra license. But effectively, he's a lot closer. We all saw what happened in the first. Avi was sat next to me at Burnley, where Endo was left alone and he couldn't run the game himself. He needs McAllister to run the game.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Asim, but you said, and I think I was starting to agree with you a bit more. And I do agree with that. Maybe
we get used to it. Everyone starts agreeing with me. It's all right.
He looks a bit better in the deeper positions, but yesterday we saw him a bit further forward off the right-hand side. The goal came from inside the box. The pass to Salah, the little nimble touch from McAllister was really, really good. And he gives us so much control. And we wanted a control in midfield, and that person was Thiago. It's like he's taken the role of Thiago, and he's kind of starting to slightly elevate it to suit Klopp's system a lot better. And he's got a goal in them, which Thiago didn't have at a consistent level. Now, I'm not going to debate the level of play, because one is far superior than the other in terms of technical ability. Thiago's on a different planet to McAllister, but McAllister at this moment in time, and I watched Mark Goldbridge's video yesterday, and he said McAllister is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, one of the most underrated signings. For £35 million for a player to come into a team like Liverpool and go take a team from literally 5th to the top of the league, it's ridiculous. And McAllister's played in a more so unfamiliar position to this season. He's normally a 10 as an advanced 8 in a pivot with Caicedo, but this season he's taken his game to another level, and he should be in the shouts for one of the signings of the season. He should be.
And I think he makes a brilliant
his advanced positioning yesterday. I'm just reading this map. His advanced positioning yesterday, in the advanced position, was at its highest throughout the season. And obviously he was playing a little bit more forward yesterday. In the second half especially, he occupied the 8 role in an advanced 8.
Yeah,
I mean, he has to go in an advanced position, because I think credit to the coaching staff, where when Bradley or when Trent is out, we have Bradley high and wide because he provides the width. When Salah is providing us the width, and we saw that with a perfect example, he comes on the halfway line and produces, because at that time when Salah is providing width, then you need the right back either in the half space or on the inverting as next to Hendo. So when he inverts, he has to push on forward. So when, and that is the perfect way. We've got different formats, different setups, different systems for different players. And you have to give, Jurgen Klopp brilliant credit for this, because he's realized that different profiles of players and the team, they work in sync. Whenever, this is why in previous years when we had probably Salah out or Sadio Mane out, these guys, the stars up top were very rarely injured. But like, for example, Van Dijk got injured at Everton and it all came crashing down after that, after a lot of others got injured as well. When previous years where Jurgen Klopp's side and style was all about, look, every club and every squad needs squad depth ultimately. But what my point is because we're transitioning into a more of a system-based type of setup, where it's easier, in inverted commas, to replace players. Obviously, Bradley and Trent will have different profiles, different skill sets. But because everything is coached into a system, it's a lot easier, not a lot easier, but, easier to, replace players. And we've seen examples of that. Obviously, it helps when you've got the likes of Bradley, Kwanzaa, Bobby Clark, and all these guys chipping in. But this season is all about chipping in, and everyone is taking responsibility. So, yeah, I don't know why I went off a bit of a tangent, but in terms of McAllister's role, Avi, when we're inverting, he needs to go into that. And I think Jurgen Klopp has said, this is the reason why I mentioned it, is we realize he can't play the Sobo role. Who sat next to me at Burnley, how many times was he holding width? He was isolated. He's a guy who needs the ball, he needs to feel the ball. So if you've got that guy who can come and start, controlling the game in deep areas, and then have the license to make that run. But going back to what Sarib said about Mark Goldbridge, I think, and I tweeted this, I think Liverpool fans have to take responsibility, Gene, because a lot of Liverpool fans this year have said, oh, he's not a natural destroyer, he's not a natural six. And the narrative, and in terms of his praise of how good McAllister has been this year, as even by our own fans has forgotten. So you can't complain that fact that, he hasn't been getting the credit. Is because our own fans have been saying and neglecting the fact that he's had a brilliant season because he's not a natural six.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Asim, in terms of McAllister's had a brilliant season. But look, I thought, at the start of the season, I thought he was decent. I didn't think he was amazing or anything like that. That's just the way I saw. Well, this is what I saw from McAllister at the start of the season. But since that from United game onwards up until now, the guy has been unbelievable. Every single game there is output. Every single game he gives us exactly what this team needs. When we need control, he gives us the control. When we need somebody to actually put a foot on the ball, he gives us aggression like no other player. He can just tell that this kid is a winner. And that's exactly what we need. And you have to give him credit. And I think, since then, I think the fans have given him credit. But when you're talking about over a season, maybe the first few months of the season, we remember and think, there was times where he struggled. There was times where he used to lose the ball as well, because I know it was a new system for him, new position for him. But honestly, over the last few months, the kid has just been sensational. And he, like you mentioned, he plays in different positions now. Obviously, especially with the injuries to Dom and Jones, he's gonna have to play higher up. Yes, it's a position that he's known and he's played previously. And yes, the thing is, this Liverpool side, the beauty of this Liverpool side is that there's so many players that can take on responsibility in so many different areas of the field. So if we need more players that come into midfield, we can use the inverted players. McAllister can come into the double pivot. There's so many facets to this Liverpool play. If we want a player to go out wide, we've got the likes of Gravenberch that can go slightly wide. If we want Gakpo to even drop in and help out in the midfield, we've got options. And I think that's another thing. That's one of the best things. But the biggest thing this season, Asim, is finally we have a squad. And we've never had this over the last 5 or 6 years.
Sort of.
No, but we are in this position where we can have 3 or 4 players out.
Yeah.
Go into a game still confident that we've got enough to beat the opposition. Whereas previously, if we had, let's say, an injury to one of the forwards, a Trent, our main midfielder, we would struggle because we just didn't have a squad of players that were good enough at that time. But now, look, even though we've got so many players out, if we can get through the Luton game, look, if Salah and Darwin are out on the Luton game, that's arguably 7 or 8 starters out for Liverpool Football Club against Luton. That's unheard of. But I'm still going into that game confident that we're going to crush them.
Avi, the biggest.
I was going to ask you to, respond to Selection's message. Selection, big up to Selection. He's always in the comments. Mark defensive stats statistically were better than Caicedo's last season. He's fine as a 6 as long as we control and don't stretch the game too much. Where you
have to cover large spaces.
I think Selection a bit tipsy tonight. We'll carry on.
He might. Talking of tipsy, fancy you're sending us a tip, Selection. Thank you very much. The biggest compliment.
That's a different kind of tipsy book.
The biggest compliment I'll pay McAllister, and I said it very early on when we signed him, but I didn't know that he was going to be operating in a 6. He's in hybrid. And this might be a hot take. I can see Gina now. Here we go. I can see Gina's eye roll.
McAllister, what you want? I love the kid.
No, let's see this. Let's see this.
He's a hybrid between Xavi and Iniesta. He's a hybrid between a Xavi and an Iniesta.
Assalamu alaikum.
No, I can. Oh, he's gone. He's not done that one.
That's how wild he.
He's already done that one tonight.
That's how wild he pulled that one.
Avi, Sarib's left. He's already done that one tonight.
He's in hybrid between the two players.
No, I can see that.
You can't. I'm sorry. He does not go past a player. He does not dribble the ball like Iniesta. That was Iniesta's one of the Iniesta's.
He said hybrid. He said hybrid.
Hybrid Iniesta, man.
It was the greatest close control. It wasn't always about taking players on. It wasn't
near, man.
It wasn't always about taking a player on. It wasn't always.
Hear him out. Gene, hear him out, man.
Yeah, because he's chatting shit. I don't need to hear him out. This is just baloney's, man. Look, people are gonna laugh at us. The stream are gonna laugh at us.
People haven't watched enough football. People haven't watched.
Avi the drunk one. Oscar. Come on, yeah. There's limits.
The biggest. I'll go again.
Sorry, we are not a channel of hot takes that give bullshit.
I'll go again. I'll go on top of this. Yeah, this is one of the reasons.
We're the channel of hotheads.
This is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why Pep Guardiola was all in McAllister this summer. Why he wanted him.
That's a different point, though. He's a more Man City player.
It was going to be his closest thing to be a hybrid between Xavi and Iniesta. Iniesta wasn't always about grabbing the ball and just dribbling and gliding past players. Gene. He was always about reading the game.
Iniesta, I think I know what Iniesta was.
Reading the game, he was a brain. He was a brain, and that's what McAllister is to Klopp. He's the brain. You'll never drop him. Undroppable, right?
Iniesta and
Avi, now you're talking about different his mind. And when you say hybrid between two players, then you're talking about stylistic.
Xavi was a little bit more in that 6. Like McAllister's not a destroyer in the 6. Xavi used to play that 6 alongside the Busquets and Iniestas, right? But he was always a little bit deeper than Iniesta. Iniesta was the free-flowing sort of 8, left or right. He could go in the middle, linking up with the Neymar, Suarez's, Messi's. And that's what McAllister does. He does a bit of both. And he does it exceptionally well. He does the work of Xavi, where he can pass from deep and create angles and break through the lines. Or he can play in an advanced role like Iniesta did. He can go past a player. He can sort of drop a shoulder, or he can just sort of look at the game in front of him. Look at the game in front of him and make those close passes. And what I mean is now hold on. Let me talk. And what he does is tighten up the spaces. That's what McAllister does. That's what Iniesta was great at. Watch games. Watch games. Watch the documentary. Take the ball, pass the ball, take the ball. It was a very predominant. It was a Guardiola documentary. McAllister would be a shoo-in in that Barca system under Pep Guardiola.
No one's doubting that. We're talking about,
and that's why I say, for me, he's the closest hybrid between Iniesta and Xavi.
Gene, your response?
A lot of bullshit. But carry on. My one response is a lot of tosh. This guy don't know what the fuck he's on about. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's just aiming, yeah. He just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna come up with this. People are gonna laugh at me. Let me get this. Let me get it out.
This is the same guy that said Fabio Carvalho was going to be a Ballon d'Or. Same guy, by the way.
Sarib, more than mutes me, man.
I don't even know what to say after he did. I just had to go on my phone and just have a look at Mo Salah's injury. I can't believe he said that, Avi, man. I can't believe he said that. But I'm not gonna go after at you because
No, you can. I know a year.
I
a
learned
year-
today you can't disagree with the blue chip, otherwise you're gonna get.
No. I know a year from. I know a year from now. I know a year from now, people will make the same
Oh,
comparisons.
here we go, man.
People will be making the same comparisons.
Comparisons to Iniesta.
I even, you know what? Asim, the worst thing is, I even tweeted this last summer, and I'll show you the hit rates that he got, Gina, from Twitter.
Okay, well done. Aye.
I think he's a hybrid. I think this is why he's so respected by top coaches, and why Guardiola's, why the big coach like Pochettino, they wanted McAllister.
Avi, which coach wouldn't want McAllister?
It's not about him he's not being a great footballer, being able to play in that position.
Okay, from all the midfielders that you've seen, from the midfielders that you've seen, who do you liken him to? Who do you liken him to? Tell me. Compare him to a past player.
If I'm honest with you,
a past player.
Gundogan.
I think he's more. I think he's closer to Gundogan.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
Reminds me of Gundogan.
I think Gundogan's an easy take to make. I think it's an easy comparison.
Why is it? Yeah, that's what he is.
I think Xavi and
That's what he
Iniesta.
is.
I think Xavi and Iniesta for me.
Huh?
No, I think he's the second coming of Zidane. I think he's gonna do Zidane.
It can be if you wanted to.
I gotta ask him to move on. You know, this guy talks shit. I'm gonna argue. Liverpool
He's not a Muller. He's not a Thomas Muller. That's even more outrageous now.
Muller and Gundogan hybrid.
He's been
I get, but not Muller.
This season he's been baby Thiago though. The way he's played football is very similar to how Thiago has done it, especially in that 6th role. How Thiago used to do it in the pivot at Bayern.
Let's not mention Thiago.
He's done it.
And the last week, the video that you three put out.
I'm just saying.
Guys, let's move on. Let's go to a player that I think is a hybrid between R9 and Ibrahimovic, Cody Gakpo.
Yes.
10 goals in the last, what's his start? 10 goals this season, Sarib. We were talking about natural finishers at the club yesterday, and he's one of the best because when he comes in front of goal, whether it's left foot, predominantly right, he can put the ball between the sticks. And yesterday was another another evidence of that.
You know what I've been saying about this guy the whole season? Just give him games in the attack, just please.
By the way, that take was a joke. By the way, carry on.
Which take?
My take about Ibrahimovic and R9 hybrid.
Hold on, I absolutely agree with you. I think
Yeah, haven't you watched that Amazon documentary? I'm telling you, Jurgen Klopp would take him.
No, but I think Cody Gakpo is so underrated. Like every time this guy comes into the team, he leaves with something, a goal or assist somewhere, whether he plays right back, left back, centre back, midfield as a 6. He's played everywhere. But he always leaves with something. And I've always said, if you give this guy consistent minutes, if you give him a run of games, he will deliver. And then people turn around.
He left us fuck all against Burnley last week. For starters. Against Arsenal in the
You're a man who lacks.
Arsenal in the league game.
You're a man who lacks big moments, right?
In the game.
You're a man that lacks big moments, right? You're a man that lacks big moments, right? Even the back end of last season and this season, he's got a goal against Tottenham in the away game. He's coming for the injured Darwin.
He lost that game.
But he scored in it. He's the only one that scored. Who else scored in that game? Did any of us score that game? No one scored that game. You can say the Luis Diaz one. He scored a goal. He scored that goal against Fulham. Scored a goal. Remember that goal he scored against Fulham? In the cup, we're 1-0 down. He comes on, scores the equaliser, and then we win. It's Cody Gakpo. And now you're going to say to me, look at him in the League Cup. Without Gakpo, we don't make the League Cup final. Every time this guy gets games, you're going to say the opposition has not been great. You can only score and play with what's in front of you. And you take your chances against the opposition that you get to play against. And if that means you get starts in the league, then absolutely. And you're gonna base him being poor off 1 or 2 games where he's been thrown into the team and has been taken out. How is a player supposed to build consistency when he comes in for 1 game, gets taken out, gets thrown in the next game? There's gonna be absolutely no consistency. Look at Wataru Endo. He's the perfect example. He was playing Europa League games only. And I said, all this guy needs is a run of games. Look at Kostas Tsimikas. All this guy needs is a run of games. And those two have come in this season. Tsimikas, especially for Robertson, has been absolutely incredible. When he first came into the team, you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about Tsimikas. But up until the Arsenal game where he got injured, he was absolutely incredible. Wataru Endo, people saying, oh, I'm not sure about him, 16 million, 31 years of age, what are we doing? Caicedo, Lavia, all this bullshit. And you come into the team after playing all these Europa League games, very, very tidy player, and now you can't even take
I think in the league he's been very underwhelming, Cody Gakpo. I'll give him credit in the cup games, Cody Gakpo. And to be fair, 10 in 33, I won't argue with that. I can't argue with that. It's a good goal scoring record. Absolutely. But I think he's been a bit underwhelming in the league. When you say that he's influenced every game when he comes on, in the league, he's not so much.
That's my point, Avi. We've not seen it enough to make a judgment. It's what I keep saying to you every single week. If Gakpo, for example, had the same amount of run of game starts that Nunez, Diaz, and Salah get, then absolutely fine. And he's playing very poorly. I'll be like, hold my hands up and say, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you deserve to be on the bench. But every time this guy comes onto the pitch, he scores or assists, and he done it again yesterday. He came on for half time for Nunez, and he still.
My question to you is, why can't he get ahead of Diaz or Nunez? Diaz, who hasn't set the light pre-2024, back end of 2023, didn't set the world alight. Why isn't he getting in front of them?
And that's a question I can't even answer to you. And we come on the show and say he doesn't do the work the other way. Klopp maybe doesn't know what his position is because he's played in the midfield, he's played as a centre forward, he's played as a left winger. Maybe Klopp is trying to find the right position for Cody Gakpo. Maybe Klopp is trying to adapt him into this team in the best way he possibly can. And maybe the players that are in front of him have currently adapted quicker, which is why they're in the team. But my whole thing is, how is he supposed to adapt if he doesn't get the run of games anyway? So we're in a lose-lose situation. And the only way I can judge it is when Gakpo plays, he tends to deliver more often than not. He makes substitute appearances. He's versatile. He can play in the midfield. He can play across the attack. I don't know why this guy doesn't get more games. And yesterday, again, one-on-one with the keeper. He's a right player. He doesn't get with the left foot.
He doesn't get many goals because the other players are better than him. Simple.
I don't think Diaz has had a better season than Cody Gakpo. I don't think Diaz has done enough to be ahead of Cody Gakpo on that.
I think Diaz offers a lot more on the left than Gakpo does.
Yes.
And that may be so in this Klopp system, but I want to see it.
If you say that Diaz doesn't take the player on enough on the left, Gakpo is not that either.
Then fair enough. But I would like to see it more and more and more.
He's going to get a chance against Luton, isn't he? He's going to get his chance.
Maybe with a run of games, that will improve because the work that he does the other way can be coached. His technical abilities, his stature, that's all embedded into him anyway. He's got goal scoring abilities. We saw him at the World Cup. We've seen him at Liverpool score a lot of goals for us in the back of the last season. And it's today last year when he scored that goal against Newcastle away when he made that run and scored a goal. He's still doing it.
I tell you where we end it. I think it's great that we have him as an option. That if he starts or he comes off, he won't let the team down. Yesterday, I saw something in Gakpo which I haven't seen in his career, to be honest. Maybe you lot can correct me. He won a header yesterday.
100%. I was going to mention that.
He won a header in the year. No, but that's key. Asim, we laugh, but that's key. If he can win a lot more than those, he becomes a serious threat because he's 6'4". You've got to remember, he's 6'4". He doesn't use his physicality very well. Nunez does. I think he can have it in his game to do that. And if he can do that, alongside all the technical ability that he has, he will be a top player.
Avi, but is that exactly what it is? Sarib said, look, going the other way and doing the dirty work can be coached. Yep. Isn't that sort of making yourself a nuisance and getting up and winning battles? Isn't that part of doing the ugly work as well?
Yeah, and look, against Burnley this season in the league game, when I think we won 1-0, wasn't it? When Nunez gets that finish. He was doing the dirty work. He was tracking back. But I think Diaz just offers us different sort of dimensions, different positions in that left-hand side. And listen, don't get me wrong. We've seen Gakpo at PSV. Yeah, we've seen him being a creative outlet. But I don't think he gives us what Nunez gives us, that directness, going at a defender, or what Diaz can do, cutting in, constantly, or doing the dirty work in behind. I don't think Gakpo does that. But Gakpo is a different type of player. I do think Gakpo's best work is done in a 9. If it's not a 9, I do see him as a 10, but we don't play that way. So, but he's listen, I don't want to see him in an 8. We've done that, tried that. It's been tested, that trial. No, I don't want to see that. Forward positions, yes. And listen, if he can come off the bench and get an assist or a goal yesterday, the way he took that with his left, he's another player that can finish with his left and right, and we forget about that. Some of his finishes have been crisp. Yesterday was crisp finishes with the left foot or the right foot. And if he can do that right now, that's his job right now. If he can come in and do that, then yeah, he's a different. He's a brilliant impact.
Diaz was involved in around, I think, 15 or 16 duels yesterday. Could Cody Gakpo have done that yesterday?
I'm not gonna say yes because I haven't seen it, but I'm not gonna say no because I want to see it.
He's not a dual player, man.
I want to see it from him though because I know
For Diaz to be involved that many duels is absolutely ridiculous.
it's not.
I think you know what it is as well. And again, this could be another wild take. Wait for this. I think it's that's the South American in him too.
Yeah,
I think sometimes you're just born with that. You're born with that. Like Nunez with the duel. I trust him in the duel. I saw it against Wolves at Molyneux earlier this year when he I think it was the Harvey Elliott deflection or the Salah goal or the Robertson goal for the winner at Molyneux. He wins that initial duel. I don't think Gakpo's that. Can he bring that into his game? Certainly he can. But whether he's going to be good at it is a different question. I think sometimes you're just born with that natural South American ability. You want to fight for everything. So you'll go in with the 50-50.
I think he might be the best ball striker we have at the club as well. I think on the turn, the shot power he can do on the spin. I've never seen someone, maybe Szoboszlai, maybe Trent, but Gakpo on the turn, it's becoming a trademark. I remember that goal against West Ham. I don't know if you lot went there, but I was at the game as always. Scored that goal from long range, really good goal. This season, the goal against Leicester, the goal against Tottenham where he span and bashed it in. Yesterday was a more composed, but he's got that in him, Cody Gakpo, and he's not, like you say, he's not got that one type of finish. He can do it all ways, but that ball striking that he has, it's cash money. Every time it's cash money.
Yeah,
Gene Shahab asks your thoughts.
The new term, Gina, is cash money. Do you agree?
He's a good look. I'm not going to knock in terms of his finishing. Asim, you can tell that he's a good finisher. The way he strikes the ball is, he does strike it beautifully well. The thing with his striking is, and you've mentioned it a few times, it's like he has to rev him up, give him 5 seconds for him to actually unleash that actual shot, which I have an issue with. But in terms of in front of goal, yes. Do I like Cody Gakpo? Yes, I like him as a fifth striker. That's what he is to me, with all due respect to what we've got. On the left-hand side, I haven't seen much of it. Yes, last season he played really, really well when he came in. We were a different team last year. In the number 9, there's times where I felt he started the game when he's okay, and I think I agree with Avi. He's been underwhelmed whenever he starts, Asim, and I think that's the issue that I have with him when he actually plays. I haven't seen a game where I thought Cody Gakpo man of the match. Has there been a game this season where our 9? How many times we thought? In terms of real impact on a game, when you talk about real impact on a game, I've not seen that this season from him.
In his defense,
Asim, he's a spurts player. He'll have little spurts in the game, but he won't give you a solid 90 minutes.
To play devil's advocate, a lot of his starts are probably come in the cup games and Europa League, where he would say, "Look, my main creators are on the bench or not even in the squad."
Yeah, but you're playing against lower league opposition, then, aren't you? You're the main man. Make it happen, then. You're playing against. You're not exactly playing.
The ball not coming to him. He can't make it happen. Even the best needs supply.
Come on, he's obviously scored goals in them games. He's obviously had supply.
Selection.
I'm not saying he's shit or anything, but he's a fifth. He's a fifth choice.
Go on, Avi. Take over, man.
All he is.
Selection should have been a super chat, but don't worry, maybe next time. Gakpo has a 9 question mark. Another horror take from my boy Avi. Physical presence not good enough. No false 9 gimmick either. His best attribute is to carry the ball and a shot on him. That's it. But that's not coming from the left selection. Right now at Liverpool, I only see him as a 9. And Klopp probably sees him as a 9 or the 8 advanced 8. But I think that trial and test is done. I don't think we'll see him in that 8 unless we have injuries. He's a 9 at the moment for us. He's a 9.
Yeah, he's a 9, man. He's a 9. There's no, he isn't playing anywhere. But obviously on Wednesday he's going to be a 9. There's no one else to play there, so he's going to have to lead the line. And again, to be fair, every single player
listen, he will come in on if he gets to start on Wednesday, he's scoring and he'll. I know
he is. This is the thing.
I trust him in the cup final too.
I trust him that he'll score on Wednesday. Don't get me wrong, but this is what I'm saying. There's instances this season where other players have turned up and performed. When we needed them most, they performed. It's Cody Gakpo time now. If we got all these players out, show me what you've got. But when the chips were down on Darwin Nunez and we were calling for him, man produced. Jota, he came and produced. Cody Gakpo, your time is now. Go and produce.
And look, he's 24.
Yeah,
he's still 24. He'll be here for the best part of the next 2-3 years, and hopefully the new manager that comes in, and it'll be interesting to see what the new manager thinks.
Alonso.
And whoever that is, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Gakpo, because I think he's going to be an integral part of this squad.
Someone who will be also here for years to come is a young Irishman, goes by the name Conor Bradley Sarib. awful circumstances over the last, couple of weeks. He's had some time off, but what a statement! What a level of maturity to come back after those circumstances and put that level of performance in. It just goes to show you what a good footballer he is, and what a good, cool head he has on young shoulders.
Yes, it's crazy. I think that's only his second ever Premier League start, maybe third or fourth appearance ever in the Premier League. And to show that level of maturity, he's younger than me, by the way. I think he's 20 years old, 2003. Obviously, the situation with him.
You're really mature as well, man.
I try. But
No comment. No comment.
Carry on. Sorry, Sarib, you set that one up, man.
They call me Kevin. They don't call me Kevin De Bruyne for no reason. No, but Conor Bradley has just been. I think because we've seen the riches of Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's always going to be compared to that level of player because he's coming in to kind of take over that role. And there's been talks about Trent moving into midfield and all this jazz. But as a conventional right back, as a complete fullback, I think he's the best one at the club. And I'll give credit to Avi because Avi was the one that was speaking about Conor Bradley. Like he will be a Liverpool starting right back in the coming years. And I remember this show very, very specifically. Don't know what, but we all sat here and we laughed at him. And we're not laughing now because he's coming to the team in his second Premier League start. On his first Premier League start, he scores a goal and gets an assist. On his second Premier League start, he nearly scores another goal. And regardless of his circumstances, he is looking like one of those players which is going to take us to the next level to allow Trent to freely roam into that midfield that we want to see him in so badly. And it's all because of his ability that's going to allow us to do that. And long may it continue. I don't want to put pressure on the kid. But defensively, going forward as an all-round package, he is really, really good. And yeah, maybe Xabi Alonso is that guy to take him to the next level. But certainly, we're going to see the riches of Conor Bradley, and it can only bode well for Liverpool Football Club.
Avi, the scout in...
Wait, question for you. Obviously, now with Bradley, when Bradley's fit, Trent, they're both fit. Who plays right back?
Who plays right back when everyone's fit?
Everybody's fit.
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I agree with Risa, yeah.
You want to move him in the field?
I think that would be. I think that's a question. I think that's a question for next season. I think Asim, if I may, you talk too much anyway. I think the next manager
It's his channel.
will have both of them in that team.
How?
System.
System. Bana.
System. It'll be a system change. Okay, what we see now with Xhaka and Andrich, what we see at Leverkusen with Andrich and Xhaka in that middle, I think we'll see Trent with someone else, and then we'll see the Frimpong being that Bradley. But then we need to find that left-sided playmaker.
Oh, so you think we're going to go into a 3-4-3?
I think Soboslai can do that left. That role.
A big if it's
two secs. Let me go to the analyst.
Or a 3-2-3-1. Or a 3-2-3-1.
You think he goes into a 3-4-3 with McAllister and Trent in midfield? Bradley is a wing back.
Yeah, I say this because I think there's no way, the way Bradley's trajectory is right now, that you put him as a subs bench next season.
Why are you laughing?
Why?
You're laughing, man.
No. You idiot! What are you exactly laughing at?
What the?
I think that's fine. It makes sense.
What are you eating today, man?
No. What is wrong with what you? What did I say there? No. Please explain what I said there. Explain what I said there. How do you drop Bradley? How do you drop Bradley next season? How do you drop him?
I think maybe change that because it's such a small sample space to judge a player on.
Yeah.
They're so small to judge him.
That still doesn't make sense.
I think that makes sense though.
Obviously, Bradley on the right with Trent and McAllister in the 3-4-3. Dominic Szoboszlai.
No,
Dominic Szoboszlai in
the next. You push Szoboszlai in the Wirtz role. You push Szoboszlai in the Wirtz role.
Sorry?
In the Florian Wirtz role. You push Szoboszlai in the Florian Wirtz role.
Where's Salah playing?
Who knows Salah's in the club? Who knows if Salah's at the club?
Well, I mean, Gene.
I don't know how he thinks that's ridiculous. I don't know how he thinks that's ridiculous.
I mean, Gene, I'm not saying Salah's going to be on the bench, but in the terms of Bradley being wing back and Trent playing,
I think
Sadiq
Sadiq says Bradley at right back and Trent in midfield has to be seriously considered.
Yeah,
Maybe not this season. Maybe not this season. No, this season maybe not. But Gina, if you're telling me that Bradley's going to be okay with being a sub, being second fiddle to Trent Alexander, you're big time mistaken. The laugh will be on you. The laugh won't be on me. The laugh will be on you.
I asked the question, so I obviously don't.
And right now, balance wise, Bradley gives us better balance right now. He gives us better balance right now.
We're not time, boys.
Avi, look, I'll be honest. The 3-4-3 for me, look, Asim, if it was a 4-3-3 with them two playing, I can understand it. Yeah, Trent and him, it works more. On 3-4-3 with them two, for me, it's going to be difficult for it to work.
I don't think it is at all. I really don't think it is. Because we've seen what Xabi Alonso does with the two pivots with Chaka and Ondrej, and then he has Grimaldo plays as a left playmaker role, and then he plays with Wirtz and he plays with Frimpong as the advanced fullback.
Yes, I know
Frimpong's role is just go bomb forward. Selection says Trent could be the Grimaldo. Trent can be the Grimaldo if he goes off to the left.
The winger in that position when they're
if he goes on the left. If he goes on the left.
Don't you think Trent could do that role that Frimpong does? Because he's gonna have the freedom to roam down the right hand side. It could be Trent like he was back in the day when he has all the freedom.
Bradley's got the engine.
Bradley more, man. Bradley more. I think now. Plus, he would if he did play, he'd want Trent to be slightly more inside.
You know what? Yeah.
So from laughing, he kind of agrees. He kind of agrees with it now.
He kind of
agrees with it now.
I think this is
agrees with you, like always. You can read that one out yourself.
No, Trent could be like Grimaldo. I don't want Trent in midfield. I worry about him in back-to-man scenarios. His lackadaisicalness. Agreed. And this is why Bradley is the better fit in a Xabi Alonso system. Dom should be our left wing under Xabi.
Okay. Just to come at you, Avi, give me a second, Gene. Dom should be our left winger under Xabi. Give me your team with all our current squad under a Xabi Alonso system. You tell me.
Okay. All right. Let me see. In goal, Alisson.
Oh, will
it? Are we all agreed there? My three centre backs, I'll go with Konate, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa.
Oh, sorry, no, let me write this down.
He's saying current squad. I mean, I would love Hincapi on the left-hand side of a three. I would go with Konate, Van Dijk, and then say Gomez. Okay. So I would go with Gomez, yeah?
Yeah.
How many is that players? 4? Okay, my two.
You wing back.
My two. Let me get my Chaka and Andrich. My two current squad, Thiago and McAllister. No, I'd go with okay, cool.
Realistic squad.
Oh,
wow.
You just told me Bradley plays as wing back.
No. Bradley on the right side.
Yeah. Robo, yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking at my two. No. Robo.
Asim, why is he thinking it's so easy? He's already said it. Bradley, Trent, McAllister, and Robo is easy what he wants.
I'll give you a left wing back.
No, Bradley, McAllister. Who did you say?
Luis
Diaz. That's
well, as a left back.
Yeah. Because we'll go to a 4 when we can. We'll go into a 5. When we go into a 5, Diaz drops back. He's played that role a few times.
He does the work the other way as well, so we've seen it. Yeah, fair enough.
Have
Not under Xabi Alonso.
Okay.
But I can see what. No, I can.
He's gonna play Robo there.
I can see.
Play Robo there, aren't you?
I tell you what. I don't mind on that left. I don't mind Curtis Jones on that left either.
No, Avi.
This is what I mean.
Not the wing back.
You know what where you were coming from a different. Where you were coming from different. If I'm going with two holders, Asim, if I'm going with two holders, shut your mouth 1 minute before you keep talking with your fake Moncler. If I'm going with two, I'm going with McAllister and Trent. McAllister and Trent, Asim.
McAllister and Trent, okay.
You know that.
My wing backs, Bradley 100%.
Yeah.
Dom
where? Up top.
No, behind the striker, obviously. The left is the issue. It wouldn't be Robbo, and I don't think. I think Diaz. is a.
I'm with Dom. I'm with Dom Dewsbury. I was with you, Avi.
No, but you're saying current. You're saying.
He's trying a load of shit.
You're saying current squad. You're saying current squad. Current squad. You need to find that left player because Grimaldo is a very unique footballer. He's not.
Why can't Robo play the wing back role?
No.
You don't want Luke Chambers in there?
No.
Callum Scanlon?
Scanlon is great, but not as in that system. Not in a 3-4-3. Not in a 3-4.
And who's the 3 forwards? Dom is one of them instead of Salah.
So Salah's out the team.
I don't think Salah's here next summer.
Salah, Gakpo,
Okay,
Nunez.
TK. Szoboszlai, Nunez up top,
Yeah.
and who's on the left?
Gakpo.
After
Maybe-
slating
maybe-
Gakpo online.
No, I didn't say Gakpo.
Okay,
On the
who's
left,
the-
I'll
who's
go
the
with
team?
I'll go with Diaz.
Carvalho.
Okay, he's going with Diaz.
Fabio Carvalho.
That
TK,
left back row, you can say Rob, you can say Robbo. You can listen, you can say Robbo. I can't see it.
I'd have Diaz. It's not even about Robbo here.
No, but you laughed for the fact that you said, "Oh,
but
Trent
it's-
over Bradley." I'm saying that Bradley. I'm saying Bradley makes a serious play as a starter next season.
Asim,
But
I
you've
don't
got to
think-
accommodate Trent as well. You've
I
got to
think-
accommodate Trent.
I think
I think
Alonso-
Trent. I think Asim Trent as a left. I think Trent off the left isn't a bad shout though. I don't
Okay.
think Trent off the left is a bad shout either in the 3-4-3.
I think if Alonso comes in, I think it's written for him to play. I don't think he's going to play that system anyway. I think he's going to play a 4-3. I think he's going to carry on playing a 4-3-3, or he's going to go to a 4-2-3-1. I think that's
4-3-3 setup, but when we actually
he didn't play. He didn't play 5 at the back or /3 at the back at Sociedad B. Generally speaking,
that's the players he has
he would
available.
he would have in them tens that Alonso plays. Yeah, he would have Diaz over Jota.
huh?
He'd
Yeah,
have,
but it's not a set. It's not going to be the set 11 players.
No,
It's been 38 games. Asim, explain to Gene that it's been 38 games. 38 games. Don't raise your voice. Don't raise your voice at me. Don't raise your voice. Don't raise your voice. I'm not raising my voice. I am not raising my voice. You asked me a question.
Everyone agrees with me.
He doesn't realize it's been 38 games. We haven't played the
41.
same 11. We haven't played the same 11, Gene. We haven't played the same 11 for 38 games.
Ali, this game is not for you.
We haven't played the same team for 38 games, Asim, we haven't played the same team for 38 games.
I told you this before.
We haven't played the same 38. We haven't played the same 11 for 38 games. Explain that to Gina. Gina, you can talk louder. But the facts are there. Klopp hasn't had the ability to play the same 11 for 38 games in a row.
Fail it, Ali, fail.
I don't think he plays that system, Asim. I think the players that he's got available.
I agree. I tweeted it, Sarib, about 3-4 weeks ago. If Xabi Alonso or when Xabi Alonso comes to Liverpool, I don't think he just rips up, the whole Klopp 2.0. He doesn't need to.
But he has the players right now to make it work though. If we went a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-4-3. But his point, Tavla's point was Bradley and Trent can't be in the same team. That was your initial point. Gina. And you laugh. You're the only one that laughed at yourself. It's good. Sometimes you need to laugh at your own jokes as well, or at your own takes.
Generally speaking, when coaches,
I
The
love
new manager will have
3-4. When he's got John playing left back, wing back, he's got Robo playing.
You're going round in circles now. You're not
playing instead of Mo Salah. He's got Diaz playing.
No. Are you telling me Szoboszlai can't do the 10? Are you telling me Szoboszlai can't do the 10?
Yeah.
Look at Szoboszlai at Salzburg. Do your education. Do your education and learn where Szoboszlai occupied his space in Leipzig and Salzburg. Leipzig first season. Tell me where he was. See, exactly. You don't want to do the facts. You just do that. You do that. That's what he does.
You want to call me immature.
Sarib, I was saying the reason why I don't think he plays that is because when coaches go to a club, they generally do go to a back 5. You saw Arteta do it with Arsenal. Because it's the formation that gives them stability in defensive areas, especially in build-up, where it gives them a man extra in transition, and in build-up it gives them a 3 in defense and a 2 automatically with the.
Read this, Gina.
And I get what you're saying, but he's got the correct.
Why does he need to change it at Liverpool?
No,
We've got Van Dijk and Kanate.
When Arteta came to Arsenal, I think the reason why most coaches play a 5 at the back setup or 3 at the back setup is because they know their defenders are not good enough to play as a 2 in a 2 centre back role. Maybe the elite coach that make tweaks like Guardiola, moving your centre backs into midfield, all that jazz. But I'm talking conventional where you play 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a natural 3-2 build up, isn't it?
I think coaches tend to do that when they know their defenders are not good enough. And I don't think Alonso is going to do that because I think Liverpool's defenders are far, far superior to what Arteta inherited at Arsenal, to what Guardiola inherited at Man City, and to what Alonso has now. I think it's perfect for him to go and play the 4-4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 because we've got the likes of Fabio Carvalho coming back. We've got the likes of Harvey Elliott. We've got Cody Gakpo. Maybe one of them could occupy the 10 role. We've got Szoboszlai. We have got a lot of players that can play in behind the striker, which is why I think it's going to be so instrumental to see what happens to some of these guys like Carvalho, like Elliott, like Gakpo. I'm intrigued to see what he does. But I think it's a question for the summer. I think we're getting in too much detail now because all this talk for our next manager to be De Zerbi or Steven Gerrard, we're going to have to change the topic.
Asim, a question for you. In an ideal world, do you accommodate Trent and Bradley in the same team?
As great as he is, Avi, I think you have to give a bit of more time to Bradley. And I think he'll prove us all right that this guy's a great footballer. I'll be happily say in front of a camera that I saw traits of Stevie G yesterday when he was coming to midfield, and there was an exchange of play where McAllister popped it off with his left foot first time, and he drove into the middle, and he had that shot. And I'm not saying he's Steven Gerrard, but I saw traits of his long legs, his rotation, his drive. That this guy, I won't be surprised if he sat here in 2 years' time where we're saying the same things that we were saying with Trent, that he's too good of a footballer to be at right back. And this is the reason why people want him at midfield. Yes, he's a lot more conventional. He's got that, he can put the burners on, and you can tell he likes to duel those long legs, his natural physicality. But selection makes the point. And this is my point, where we're here sat in 2 years' time. Hopefully BNR still exists at that time where we're over 7K subscribers.
It's because of him. It's because of him we're not there.
We'll hit 7K.
All these journalists gonna come on the show. All these Neil Jones fans. Coutinho. Asim, I saw this Del Boy Anfield last week. Coutinho. You get Jimbo Pace on our show, okay? You get Jimbo Pace. You concentrate on getting the deals and contracts in place with Jimbo Pace. Coutinho.
FFP limitations on BNR.
Sustainability.
We're not allowed to spend that at the moment.
The problem is when you got guys like you that give hot takes like that. Fucking, I think we lost 10 subs because of the.
I'm going with a 4-4-4-1.
I'm telling you, boys, how many of you unsubscribed when Avi said
Avi, you're getting sacked in the morning.
People must be thinking, what are we listening to?
Listen.
But okay, I was saying,
we are not Carrigan Neville. We're more Sturridge and Richards, okay, on this channel. Okay, we are full of hot takes, but I honestly think the manager's got a big decision to make. Asim, I think. Listen, Kwanzaa was nowhere to be seen prior to preseason. Yeah, he's made a play. He could probably start next season as a starter about centre backs alongside a Van Dijk or alongside of a Konate. I think Bradley, the way he's going, I think he's going to make a serious play for the new manager.
I mean, I don't know, man. I would like to see, with our current squad, because we've been talking about our current squad for most of the show. I'd like to see, maybe not against a Manchester City, but I'd like to see someone like a mid-table side, Trent in the 6, McAllister on the left-hand side, Szoboszlai on the right, and Bradley at right back. I'd like
dropping Jones.
No, I don't mind who's on the left, actually. Jones and McAllister, whenever. Obviously, I said McAllister at the moment because Jones is injured. I want to see it. I think it works. And then Bradley can be conventional because you've already got Trent and McAllister to be the pivot. And then you've got that, expressive energy from a Szoboszlai. And then he doesn't need to do the box-to-box as much as, what he's been doing and protecting Trent, because you've got, Bradley being more conventional rather than inverting that. So that vacated space left him behind that Trent leaves is not there. So I think it'll make us stronger in defensively in terms of setup. And you also got the unbelievable passing range and control from McAllister and Trent. Obviously, the critics would say that you don't have a tackler, you don't have an endo in the team. But we've beaten, a lot of teams. Exactly. So let's see.
Gene, could Gakpo do the works wrong?
Gakpo
in the 10.
Look, I rate Gakpo in terms of he's a good footballer. to be the main man versus the main man. What do you call Leverkusen? I can't see him being the main man. No,
I want to say he's the main man. He's part of a trio. He's part of the trio.
Yeah, but he is really the main man, man. Creative. Most of the creativity goes through him.
Grimaldo.
Grimaldo's a great footballer. I'm not doubting him, but the main spark, the creative spark, is him. You can't. There's no denying that.
No, there is demand that. There is demand. I can give you the facts. I can give you the facts that Frimpong and Grimaldo are the creators.
Avi's now just because I've said that he's not trying.
Look at the ugh. Look at the fire that he has to talk up. Decibel chuck. Decibel chuck. Decibel chuck. Decibel chuck.
Just because I'm going over you today, just relax, man.
We need a sound limiter on his booty. I told you before, we need a sound limiter on his booty. We need a sound limiter.
Avi, that could be a gif. That could be a gif. I'm clipping that.
Sound limiter, Chaco. Sound limiter. Okay, Gene, can I ask you about one player that did impress me a lot, Gene, yesterday? Shanti Rakko. Gene, one player, Gravenberch yesterday.
Oh,
Gravenberch yesterday. And you know what? I'm actually glad that you mentioned him because he's got a lot of stick over the last few weeks. But finally, we saw him play in his favoured position. And I think we've got to put some context behind this because over the last 3 or 4 games, right hand side. And we've always said that's not his favoured position. So to see him play on the left and the way he played, you've got to give him a lot of credit. Came in, we didn't look like we missed Jones yesterday. Yesterday when he played. So, hats off to him. That, like you mentioned earlier, the little layoff that he played for Salah for the second goal was brilliant. And there was times where, you saw a little more to his game in terms of his physicality yesterday. And that's what we've been crying out for. But look, he's a young kid. Again, it will take time. But play him, again, he's another one. Play him in his favoured position. And you're going to see a player that will flourish. Maybe not straight away. He's just come in. It will take a bit of time. But yesterday, it was a really, really good performance. It looks like he's going to play in that position a lot more going forward because, with the injuries that we've got, he'll probably get a start on Wednesday. Again, he's another player now. Cody Gakpo, Ryan Gravenberch, your time is now to show what you're about. And this is what it is. When other players have, like I mentioned earlier, when it was their time to show up, they showed up. Gravenberch and Gakpo, it's a huge few games for them. He might even he'll probably get a start on the weekend, Asim, if in the FA in the Carling Cup final by the looks of it.
He starts on Wednesday, I reckon, no?
I think he starts on the weekend. Gravenberch on the left hand side.
Wednesday starts on the weekend. Well, he'll get plenty of opportunities now, won't he?
Jones is out. I can't see Soboslai starting, so it's probably going to be Endo, Gravenberch, and
how about McAllister to the left and Elliott to the right?
No.
Fucking.
Sorry.
Not Elliott, man. Please.
Happy man, he's not that bad. Bloody hell! You
Impact player.
Against Javi?
No, as a starter, no. As an impact player coming off the bench, Elliott's been brilliant. Like Gakpo been brilliant. No qualms there. But not as a starter, you. Listen, I do want to say that I think I think Szoboszlai makes the final.
I need to write all these down. He's given us so much information tonight.
No. Upset.
I want to see if he gets one right.
I think Szoboszlai makes the final.
So, Avi, you told us Salah's aggravated his hamstring. Yeah, so he's out.
Jota will be less than 2 months.
Jota's
starting on Wednesday.
I need some water. But Tika, I think we've covered more or less everything. But before we go, how do Liverpool take next week, Gene? Luton, we saw, they played all right against United. I think they should have scored at least one more goal. But we drew against these lot at their ground. They're coming up on Wednesday night. We need to make sure we get 3 points, but also have an eye on Sunday. How do you see Liverpool treating this week?
We've got to treat it with all our a lot of players out. I don't want any surprises in this game. The league is for me more important than the final. And I know it's a final and it's Wembley and all that type of shit, but I want to win this league more than anything. And Luton's the game in the next game. We just got to go out there, put a performance and get the points. Yes, there'll be players that will come in that haven't started in the last few weeks, but it's an opportunity for these players to come in and grab that up and grab it. Gravenberch might get 4 to 5 games now. He puts up, a real performance in the next 4 to 5 games. That left hand side might be his, even when Jones gets back. So
Yeah.
it's an opportunity for these players. Gakpo, we saw how good Gakpo was at the end of last season. He went on a roll where he was playing 6 or 7 games at the end, scored goals, all that type of thing, and they took the chances. So it's a chance for these players to take.
Yeah.
But it's a huge couple of weeks coming up, especially with these players out. But right now, I think for me, I just want Salah. Hopefully, Salah's injury isn't a bad one, because that is a game changer.
Sarib, no scares on Wednesday night, please.
I'm not even going to say anything because I don't want to get another. So I'm just going to.
Forget him. Yeah, say what you want. I'll knock him out. You hear me? Thinks he owns the place.
No, I got 2 of them on me. Now, I think it should be a winner. It's at home under the lights at Anfield. Let's treat it like a Champions League game because the fans will be up for it. It's going to be after work. Klopp's. We're not going to get many nights under Jurgen Klopp. Let's just treat it as a Champions League final. I hope the players watch this. I know they're not going to, but let's hope they hear this. We need to win against Luton. We didn't beat them early in the season. And now, ahead of the final, we need to build some sort of confidence. I know the injuries have derailed us. And if the Salah news is true, we need to just get the dub done. It will be tough. Yeah, Luton have showed today they're not an easy team to play against. That ground, that Kenilworth Road, I know we're playing at Anfield, is a tough place to go. And they're a decent side. But let's see. We'll get the 3 points. We'll get the 3 points.
What do you call it? Chip, I'm sure we'll do a few pre-match shows before the final, but selection says a big pitch is our advantage. I saw Chelsea with some breathtaking counterattacks yesterday against City. Are you sure about that selection?
It's going to be another tight final. But before that, look, application, attitude, professionalism is what is what's needed for next week. It's a 91 points wins the league. I've always maintained that from game one.
How many wins do we need? How many wins do we need for 91?
Listen, don't interrupt me. Gina can roll his eyes. Gina can roll his eyes, but I've said 91 points. 91 points, Asim wins the league this season. I've got an ugly feeling that Arsenal are not going away. I think Man City will go away. But I tell you what, Postecoglou is going to either gift us the title or he's going to cost us the title. He's got us, he's got Arsenal, and he's got City. Those 3 games in a row for Spurs. He's got us away, and he's got 2 home games.
A couple of months ago, you said Arsenal don't have the cojones to go in for a title.
They found some tete from somewhere. Let me tell you that. In a big way. I just think Arsenal, the way they're churning on, and I think last season's experience, I go back on what I said, like I've done with Jota. I think Arteta, they could do it. They could push us. But look, the balls are now cool. It's only us. Even with the injuries, there's a lot of negativity. Listen, this team has come this far with a group of players that we have. Now it's the final hurdle, the final furlong.
The final hurdle.
I want to say something before. We've played 25 games into the season now. We actually have an identical record in terms of wins, draws, and losses to what we did in the 21-22 season. The only difference is we're actually first this time, whereas then Man City were 5 points clear and they were doing that kind of chase. So it's good to see that we're in control, and it's good to see that we are making relevant for the season that we were challenged for record. It's very similar to this season. Reminds me a lot of the 21-22 season, where there's going to be a lot of outgoings in the summer, just like it was that summer, and we're building to something bigger. Let's hope that ends in 4 trophies.
Scenario for all you 3. Would you lose against Luton but win the cup, or beat Luton and lose the cup?
It's all about the league for me. We win both. We win both, Avi. But it's all about if just to play the game.
If you had to play the game.
Yeah, I'd win Luton, because if we lose against Luton, it's detrimental.
It is now.
Sarib, considering you're going to the final and you're spending the same amount of money that I spent on a Rolex going to the cup final, what are you having?
I'll be honest. I've never gone to a game that Liverpool have lost, but I will I'll give my left kidney for the league title. So the league title, I would win against Liverpool with the cup final.
Kina saying?
Standard, man. Holy grail, mate.
Silly question, I think.
What about you?
It's all about the league. It's all about the league.
So I asked you 3 the question. I said, would you take a loss to Luton but winning the cup, or a win against Luton but losing the cup? I would take a loss to Luton and win the cup, because you'd still have that opportunity of beating City and winning the league. So thank you very much.
But we don't have.
You didn't think with your head. Gina, you didn't think with your head.
I don't need to.
Or your
think.
brain.
No, I want points on the board,
You
mate.
went with the consensus.
I want point. No. I didn't go with the. I'm the first
We're
one.
beating Manchester City at home. Darwin
Because
Nunez
it's not for me.
Darwin
It's
is-
not just about that City game. We've got Villa away. We've got Tottenham at home. We've
Nah,
got
we're gonna beat them.
Everton away. We've got United away.
Asim, they're done. They're done.
Huh?
It's gonna come to that City game. City game is the one that's gonna win or break us.
Have you seen the back end? We go West Ham away, Tottenham at home.
We had West Ham away. Have you seen West Ham lately? Talking as if they're bloody prime, bloody Barcelona.
They beat us 2 years ago there, by the way. Just letting you know.
They beat us
Last
away.
season- last
Beat us
season-
away.
They beat us at that ground. They beat us 3-2 in the
But that
21.
game didn't cost us, man. There was plenty
Of
of
course
other
they-
games that
of course
happened.
we lost the
Gerrard
league.
cost us that league title.
I'm talking about the 21-22 season.
Yes,
Have
Gerrard
we
cost
lost-
us that league title.
No, we cost.
You're at 22, 23. What are you on about? Are you?
Yes, Gerrard, when he was Villa manager, 2-0 up. That's what cost us.
No, because we shouldn't be allowed. We should be in control of our time. We can't rely on other teams to go win us. That's our
We
own.
are in control. I will never want to lose a cup final.
Sort yourself out.
I don't lose any game.
I don't know.
I think
I've
Avi, if we lose
enjoyed
against
it. I've
Luton,
really
lose against Luton.
enjoyed it.
huh?
I've enjoyed today's show. I think I've really
I've
enjoyed it.
enjoyed it. Listen, the game is the game. Everyone knows the game is the game.
There's still 150 people here. If you've just come in, please rewind. It's been an absolute cracker.
Listen, big up to I know a few people who are Pakistan IPL cricket league.
Nice.
Started today.
Oh,
The PCL started. Pakistan Cricket League started today, yeah.
So,
I know a few friends. I know a fair few friends who are thinking. I am actually supporting the Rawalpindi Rapids.
It's
They're my
PSL.
team.
PSL, isn't it?
PSL.
You're talking about Jota's injury.
Rawalpindi Rapids is my team. So boys, I'll let you decide who you are going for. But Rawalpindi Rapids, they got my boys. My actual boys' son plays for them.
I'm from there, Avi. So my team's Rawalpindi as well.
Rawalpindi Rapids.
There we are. Anyway, we've been going for 1 hour 45. Bloody hell, it sounds like a calling show. But anyway, thank you very much for listening in. What a show. What a show.
Predictions
Brentford
for Wednesday?
Predictions for Wednesday. We'll do it.
doing a
Anyway, can we do a bit of a schedule for our viewers? What's coming up?
Tuesday we're on.
Tuesday we're on for a preview. Are we guys doing a post match on Wednesday?
obviously, of
I
course.
tell you what, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for Friday. Me and you.
So Tuesday we're gonna do a show.
I see again.
Then we're gonna do
Listen, and we got no moderators either, so it'll be all mics full volume karo.
Oh, you might have Moby. Hey man, calm down, man.
Guys, we got a pre-match for Luton Town, which we're going to do. We're still deciding who's going to be on the show, but we've got a post-match coming up as well. Then we've got the Friday with Chip.
Who's doing post-match, Sarib?
You and him?
When the time comes, but
You-
we
you
will
and Abhi.
100%.
You
Me and Sarib.
If anything, I will do it by
Abhi,
myself. I will
you
do
have
it by
to-
myself.
Me and
Abhi-
Sarib on Wednesday. It's going to be funny.
After 5 minutes,
Next week,
Abhi,
guys, we got four
Abhi,
shows.
Abhi,
We have
you-
4 shows. We have 4 shows. 4 shows next week. We got the.
I think
we
me
have
and
four
I think me and Sarib on Wednesday is going to be a cracking show because I think Diaz and Gakpo will score against Luton.
Everyone on Wednesday it'll be Sarib and Avi for the post match. After 5 minutes, Sarib will leave. And it'll just be Avi. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Avi,
Listen, big up the chat, man. Big up the chat. Listen, we have what time is it now back home? 11:30. 150 people tonight. You know what? Big, you guys are the reason that we do it. And listen, I have hot takes. I take the piss and whatnot. But all 4 of us, listen, we appreciate everything that you guys do. You guys support us and everything. So big up Selection, Dom Dewsbury, Liverpool, Kieran Dolan, Shahab, Bilal, Tafsir, Taib Suarez, everyone. If I've missed you out, I'm sorry. I'll give you a lot of shout out next week. But you guys are the reason that we do this. And without your support, there wouldn't be a Born and Red. So thank you.
Brilliant. Well said, Avi. On that note, thank you very much, guys. It's Liverpool. It's time for the business end of the season. It's time to pick up some trophies. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.